Now, a very common question I have received all offseason was, Dan, what position group scares you the most with this 2025 Buffalo Bills roster? And oftentimes I would tell you, oh, it's hands down the safety room, especially since more than likely we're going to be running with two true strong safeties, a lack of a viable option at the free safety position. At one point, I was saying that the linebacker depth room was a concern, but it's funny how one piece of news can completely shift my opinion to what Buffalo has dealt with for the past couple of years as far as their consistent weakness. And I got to tell you, ladies and gents, I think where I stand right now, the Buffalo Bills defensive line to me has now become the biggest weakness for the team. And it's still largely unproven, but all of the additions we've made to this team are built off of nothing but speculation, rookies. And yesterday, obviously, when we heard that Landon Jackson was being added to the physically unable to perform list, I think that's what triggered all of this for me to raise these concerns. So today, we are going to be discussing the dynamics of the defensive line. We are going to be unpacking particularly what we saw from the defensive line last year, how it was our biggest weakness last year, and hopefully paving a path for some type of improvement. For those of you that are just joining, welcome to another edition of your favorite Buffalo Bills show, your favorite Buffalo Bills morning show on the internet, the Don Mafia Report. We talk a lot of NFL. We talk a lot of Buffalo Bills. If you enjoy that, please do me a favor. Smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on bell notifications. But more importantly, I want all of you to introduce yourself in the chat. We are building a family here within our live chat community. So do me a favor. Let us know where you're tuning in from, what team you're currently representing, and let's get into the conversation. I do need to give a giant shout out. As you know, you are all too familiar with our proud sponsor, William Mattar. Folks, if you were ever hurt in a car, you got to call William Mattar, #1 car accident attorney in the state of New York, bar none. Bar none, ladies and gentlemen. I would never wish a car accident on anybody, but if it were to happen, I got to tell you, there is only one person you can call, and that's William Mattar. Shout out to William for being a proud sponsor of this channel. Let's get down into business. But first off, I want to be able to talk to the chat and see how everybody is feeling. Roll call in the chat, folks. Let me know where you're tuning in from, what team you're currently representing. I see Axel, the Chiefs fan, in the live chat already hanging out. He is a regular in the community. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Time to bring in Trey Hendrickson, Relic 187. Still holding on to hope for a Trey Hendrickson type signing. I'm not sure where he is going to end up. Good morning, Dan, and everyone in the chat. Brandon Gilbert, sincerely hope all is well. We have D, Atlanta, and I'm a Giants fan. D, what is going on, man? I appreciate you always coming in, saying what's up, although that this is a Bills show. It just goes to show you how much you are obsessed with the NFL, and I love that. I love that because I can assure you everybody in this show is also obsessed with the damn NFL, and we have been patient, and football is right around the corner. What the hell is up, Dan? Mike, my boy, man, I appreciate you calling in yesterday. I hope the move is going smoothly for you and the missus. And what's up, man? Hope all is well. Frewsburg, New York, Bills, James Payne. Guys, do not be shy. Let me know where you are tuning in from. John Marlowe, go Bills from California. Sunny California. That's my guy. Mr. Dan, what's up, bro? Let's have a good day. Always a good day, man. It is always a good day. We are all incapable of having a bad day, folks. We can only ever have a bad moment, but we are all incapable of having a bad day. Always remember that. Asheville, North Carolina, currently modding some game cubes and listening. Well, hey, man, listen, I'm so glad that I'm able to serve as some white noise to you as you go about your daily responsibilities. Absolutely love it. Susan, Chicago, always a Bills babe. Susan, good morning. Chicago is one of the coolest cities on the face of the planet. I am envious. Love the city of Chicago. Go Bills from Eastern Oregon. Christopher is in the chat. I love my Buffalo Bills and professional wrestling. wrestling, blah. Hi, Dan from Southport. Go Bills. Billy, what's going on, my friend? Hope all is well. What's up, Dan? Calling in from the Florida Keys. Kebby, wow, man. You just need to rub it in. The beautiful Florida Keys, man. Well, and so I can tell you that maybe sometimes I am not as grateful for the place that I live in. I also live in Florida, also beautiful. But the Keys, man, that's heaven on earth, man. That is heaven on earth. Let me tell you that. Go Bills. 7-1-6. Eric, Dano, another day, another live. Good to see you. Oh, man, I appreciate that. Go Bills from Anna Maria Island. Matthew, hope all is well, my friend. Tom Cook, say hi from Buffalo, New York. Tom Cook, man. Happy Wednesday to you, man. Hope everything is going well. Guys, reminder, do me a favor, smash that like button, and let's get into business here. All right. So yesterday when I heard the news that Landon Jackson was being placed on the physically unable to perform list, I'm not sure if I ignored this once he was drafted. But as I started doing research, because realistically, I was trying to find an answer. Like, what in the hell could have happened between the mandatory minicamp all the way up to training camp? And we still don't know, like, what it is. And yes, we're hearing word that maybe he'll be back next week or he should be back by next week, but I'm not particularly buying that. Why would they put him on the physically unable to perform list a week before training camp is even starting if they had the intention that he would be playing anyway? It sounds to me that so the injury has raised at least some level of concern, or otherwise he wouldn't have been like listed like right then and there, right? Like he probably just would have been hanging out with the rookies right on the sideline, learning the playbook, what have you. So that's why I'm a bit concerned. But then I ultimately ended up going into his injury history. And from what I found, he has tore his ACL twice in high school and once in college. I want to say that I remembered that during the draft time, but it feels like forever ago since we ended up welcoming in this draft class. So I am remaining optimistic that he will be back, right? That he will be able to go week 1. But I kept getting like PTSD memories of what happened to Cole Bishop last year. Cole Bishop last year obviously had a rough rookie season. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that he missed all of those very important reps that rookies are supposed to be taking during training camp. Once Cole Bishop went down and once he was actually eligible to play week 5 last year, Sean McDermott had him on a short leash because then he was going to be having a quasi training camp in the middle of the regular season. And then when he did have some of his opportunities, like one play that I think is the perfect definition of Cole Bishop's first year was him getting burned by Nico Collins. And then a couple of other plays here and there where Sean just didn't trust him to be out there in the first place. His development was paused or significantly slowed down based off of missing these training camp reps. So now when I see this from Landon Jackson, and now I learn about his injury history, because 3 ACL injuries is not something to sneeze at. I'm really hoping that he's good by week 1 and he can have a true training camp. Because quite frankly, folks, based off of what we saw from our defensive line last year, we need these rookies to contribute year 1. Maybe we could afford 1 or 2 of them to have a 1 to 2 year sort of cycle for development. But we need at least 2 of these rookies that we brought in from the defensive line to be day 1 contributors, especially since Larry Ogunjobi and especially since Michael Hoyt are suspended for the first 6 weeks of the season. And no, I'm not talking about a elite status type performance or Pro Bowl or All Pro, but we need them to be contributors. And say that they're missing very valuable snaps right in training camp, that is going to be an issue, right? So why I bring all this up and why I think that the defensive line was such an issue last year, you've probably heard me say quite often that the Buffalo Bills were ranked 27th in the NFL for preventing third down conversions. Well, folks, I was wrong. In fact, we were 30th in the NFL for preventing third down conversions last year. 44.5% of the time, the Buffalo Bills allowed a third down conversion. That right there is a pass rush stat, folks. That right there is a pass rush stat. Thankfully, So the Buffalo Bills secondary bailed out that portion of the defense time and time again because we took the ball away quite often. But that's not a statistic that I would like to ride home with and feel comfortable with, right? That is such an anomaly, like being able to take the football away. Like, you need a bit more of a consistent pass rush. So I then looked over to the defensive line, what our current roster is. Have Greg Rousseau right on the left side. Have Daquan Jones, have Ed Oliver, and then, of course, Bosa, who, by the way, was listed as injured during mandatory minicamp. He's supposedly good to go this training camp, but how confident are we that he's going to be able to go through all of training camp without aggravating something, or maybe he ends up getting hurt week 2, week 3? And even if he does stay healthy, is he the same Joey Bosa from the time that he was with the LA Chargers? A lot of question marks here and there. So say, for example, that he doesn't pan out and you replace him with Epinesa. That's essentially the exact same starting defensive line that gave us that metric last year where we had a hard time finishing the job and getting to the quarterback in third down situations. So that means that we are putting a lot of faith right now, right within rookies and Landon Jackson, so who would be behind Greg Rousseau. Same thing with Deion Walker, who, I got to tell you, folks, I think he's going to be about a year or two of development right before I trust to put him out there. Then same thing with TJ Sanders. By the way, I have heard through the grapevine that he was a show yesterday, that he did end up showing up. I'm not sure his extent of participation. Maybe he's doing the hold-in thing. I don't know. It's just the second-round pick scenario that's happening right within the NFL. And I just don't know, like, what to expect from this defensive line. What is encouraging, though? So what is encouraging for me is that for first 6 games of the season, besides Baltimore, we're not going up against very elite offensive lines. So I think we probably should be okay. And some of the offenses we're going up against also struggle a tad. So I think we might be able to get over it. But so when I tell you, like, a key for Buffalo to really be able to get over the hump, a key metric for Buffalo to finally end up winning the damn Super Bowl and getting to the promised land, this number that we see from stopping third down conversions needs to improve significantly. And I'm not even saying that I need this to go to top 5. I do not need to see that. If Buffalo can get up to mid in the league, 15th ranked, 14th ranked, 16th ranked, I would be completely fine with that, because that shows me a series of improvements. And say that everything else on this team stays the same. A wild cycle of offensive production, a very productive offense. Same thing with our secondary. They keep on taking the football away. The key for Buffalo is to make sure that that defensive line, so we'll go from 30th ranked to about 14, 15, or 16. And that's where it is. We need pass rush more than, that is still my biggest concern going into this team. We have Eric. I'm with you, Dan. I'd rather just have a consistent defense than getting turnovers. Look, love the turnover scene within our defense. I love that. That was our identity last year, and that bailed us out quite a bit last year. But that's not something we can rest our hats on. It's not something we can rest our hats on, man. Let's go. CB depth is a problem too, in my opinion. It certainly was. I feel more comfortable this year because at least we ended up really hammering down. I trust Dane Jackson. I trust White, especially more than last year in our depth players in that position group. But I certainly understand where you're coming from, Tom, for sure. That used to be a pretty big issue with me. So I heard rookies aren't even allowed to show up if they didn't sign their contract. Interesting. We will see whether or not that is confirmed. And Sanders better be a star if he is acting that way. He better have no less than 6 sacks. Props to Brandon Beane for letting us have Patrick Mahomes and Xavier Worthy in draft day trades. Why does everyone freak out about stuff this early in the year? We have the MVP. The D will be better this year. We've added speed and youth. And we have given Josh better weapons in Palmer and more. Well, let me tell you what, Matt. I sincerely hope you are correct. We all share the same optimism. We're just pointing out some things because we understand that football is a very strong and concise type sport. So we understand that the team that ultimately ends up winning the Super Bowl, and I'm not sure about you, but I think we're starting to get to that point with Buffalo where so it's either a Super Bowl victory or bust based off of the quarterback that we do have. So I think now we're just kind of trying to make sure that we have all of our ducks in a row. So for the love of God, we can finally make a run. You know what I mean? But Matt, I appreciate the insight, man. Welcome to the show. Question: do you think Knox still goes on the block? They love Davidson. No, I do not. I think that he's safe for this year. I do. It's because, Matt, nothing is certain. Be healthy for the playoffs, and you are good. I totally agree there, T. Dannington, are we calling in today? Yes, we are. Folks, in case you didn't know, I have started to structure my show very similar to a radio experience. For example, that you would like to call in and tell me your thoughts on the Buffalo Bills' biggest weakness going into the 2025 season, I highly suggest you do. Highly suggest that you do. That's locked in. That link should be good. Feel free to call in because I want to hear what Bills Mafia has to say, whether or not it has anything to do with the Landon Jackson injury, whether or not it has anything to do with the status of the defensive line, which you think our biggest weaknesses. I would love to hear from you, so do not be shy. Do not be shy. Bills fans, I do need to tell you something which is pretty exciting. I ultimately ended up partnering up with Garage Beer. Okay, it's beer, taste, and beer, baby. But why I'm bringing this up is if you guys are golfers and you live in the Buffalo area, the Upper Deck Golf Company and Garage Beer have partnered together to allow you fools to go to Highmark Stadium and hit golf balls off of the upper deck July 25th through July 27th. If I was still in the Buffalo area, you best believe I would be there. That is a dream for me. That would quite literally be a dream for me to hit golf balls onto the Buffalo Bills field. I'll tell you what, if you hit that QR code, you are entering yourself in for a chance to win VIP tickets to this event. So say, for example, you have no plans for July 25th / July 27th. I highly recommend that you make plans to go to this. All right. And worst case scenario, might as well just scan that quick QR code and to give your chance or to give yourself a chance to get some VIP tickets for the damn game. Shout out to Garage Beer for being a new proud partner of the show. As we have our first caller of the day, Matthew, what's going on, man? Talk to me.
Good morning, Dan.
What's up, man? What's up? What's on your mind?
Uh, so one thing about yesterday, a few things about yesterday. So I saw two people in the live chat yesterday during the emergency name bringing up a familiar face named Von Miller.
Uh-huh.
What's your opinion on? Because he's still a free agent. We don't have to give him the horrible contract we gave him in the first place. Like we can give him a new contract, right? Like a team friendly
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
And isn't he still ring chasing? So I mean, like
he wouldn't cost a lot of money, right?
he
And
knows this game.
yeah, so I don't know whether or not that his job would be safe year round though, right? So I think from his perspective and from his agent's perspective, he would look at this roster of the defensive line and say, I think Buffalo is just going to keep me around for about 6 to 7 weeks. And once we get Larry Ogunjobi and once we end up getting Michael Hoyt and say that Landon Jackson does play, he'd probably be on the release radar. So it's not so much that I would be against it, but would be a hell of a lot more of I'm not sure if Vaughn would want to come back because he would know that he would just be a temporary Band-Aid until we end up getting healthy again.
I mean, I do own a Von Miller jersey, so kind of get my use out of that.
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah, dude, most definitely. So I saw that suggestion yesterday. I saw we need to trade for Trey Hendrickson. That's completely out of the window too. Like we just need to roll with what we have.
TJ Watt.
Yeah, I think that's going to be out of the equation too, unfortunately. And so, unfortunately, I think that's going to be out of the equation as well. We have like $95,000 right now. Like, we could basically restructure Dawkins. We could restructure Knox, and we probably still wouldn't have enough. I just don't
Yeah.
think that Bean is ready to make any sort of crazy ass move. Say that he does, he's probably going to wait for it right by the trade deadline. Say that we suffer any sort of injury at a key position. I think that's where we're
Um.
at.
Then I know we're starting off against Ravens, and then when do we play the Eagles and their Chiefs? Is that like towards the back half of the season, towards the beginning part of the season?
So the Chiefs is toward the middle of the season, and the Philadelphia Eagles game is the second to last game of the season.
Okay,
So
so I would say
yeah,
our three biggest games are beginning, middle, end. So it's not like, oh, we have
no,
a hard front lobe, then our backs are easy, but like not vice versa. So
no. Listen, when I look at the Buffalo Bills schedule, it's very favorable
yeah,
because so with all of our difficult games, like number one, we don't have a gauntlet at all, right? So like we don't have
yeah,
3 or 4 games in a row where it's very hard
yeah,
opponents.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I see.
And with all of our hard opponents are all at home as well, where we really took advantage of home field advantage last year.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So as far as our schedule, man, like I'd say that this is the most favorable schedule Buffalo has had in quite some time. And
Yeah, and I'm with you. I think we're probably get only a 3-2 losses around that range.
yeah, man,
'Cause
dude. And so I
I'm
hope
still
so,
putting
right?
the Week 18 game as a loss,
Yeah,
unless it's like we need to win that game for the 1 seed kind of situation,
yeah.
like how it was with the Chiefs last year. But I'm kind of with the Chiefs last year.
Now,
But I'm
right within an ideal world, so we would have the 1 seed locked up 3 weeks before. It's a lot to ask for. It's definitely a lot to ask for. And
yeah,
maybe I'm dreaming on this, but what would be ideal is that we do have that 1 seed locked up prior to the Jets game, or damn, maybe even prior to the Eagles game would be ideal, right? So we have a
yeah,
2-game lead on the 2nd seed, and we can just chill, go into the bye week, and then go into the playoffs as fresh as humanly possible. I'm not
yeah,
nitpicky when it comes into the record this year, but what I am going to be adamant about is I need that 1 seed. I need it.
yeah. We need that first round bye. We need to have all of our games at home, and in any way possible way prevent ourselves from playing the Chiefs.
Yeah, right. And so that
Because I
sounds like
trust
a
us
cop out
against any other
answer.
team except the Chiefs.
And so it sounds like a cop out answer, but I would be completely fine if we didn't have to see the Chiefs in the playoffs and maybe the Broncos pull an upset or the Bengals or the Ravens pull an upset. And
Well,
then
that
maybe
means the Bengals have to make the playoffs, which is a completely different story.
true, true. Very,
Then
very
one quick question on the whole Jets situation right now with Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. I watched the replay of the Fourth and Forever show, and of course TD was saying, "Oh, it's the worst move ever. They're in poverty now." I'm with
yeah,
you, Dan. The
yeah,
Jets, the Jets could be fighting the Patriots for the second place in our division. I like Justin Fields. I think Justin
yeah,
Fields can still be good. And I'm saying like, oh, he's a bottom five quarterback. I'm like, he's still young. He's still good. He's playing with
yeah.
his. They're in college together, right? Wilson and Fields. I'm 90% sure that's true.
So they have that
But
aspect, yes. So that was the quarterback wide receiver sort of duo right over at
yeah,
Ohio
Ohio
State.
State. Then it was
Um,
Chris Olave too.
it's really going to come down to what type of coach or what type of head coach Aaron Glenn is for the
Yeah,
Jets,
I mean,
right?
I like Aaron Glenn a lot. I think I like him more than Ben Johnson.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we'll see how the Jets work out.
But yeah,
I also think what's it going to look like for Fields? So he does add an
uh,
interesting dynamic where he is mobile, so which is ideal, but he does
I also
struggle to
do
read
like Brees
defense.
Hall. Like,
Yeah. So he does struggle to read defense. Like that's all over his tape. And so like sort of with the last year had a bunch of examples of it, but we'll see what's going on, man. We are just lucky right
but
now that
yeah,
we're in a
I
non-competitive division.
I don't think the Jets will make the playoffs, but I do think the Jets won't be. They'll be kind of like how where the Bengals were last year, but like TD's crazy, man. Like the Jets are. You need to worry about your own team not getting last place in the division and a front runner
Yeah.
for Archie Manning
Mm-hmm.
because they're eventually going to get rid of Hill. And I don't trust.
Right.
I like Waddle, but I don't trust him as a number one wide receiver.
Nah, I don't think so either, my friend. But Matthew, listen, brother, I appreciate you coming
Go
on
Bills.
in. Go Bills, man. I appreciate that. Shout out to Matthew from Anna Maria Island. He's a regular caller on the show. Guys, if any of you want to come in, chop it up, let me know what's on your mind about the Buffalo Bills. Do not be shy. I have the call-in link at the very top of this show. Carlton has come in and said that everyone can calm down about Cook, and he's under contract, and it would be to his advantage to come to camp and have another good year, and he will get paid and appreciated by another team. He is a big part of our offense. Yeah. So as far as my worry level of Cook showing up or not showing up, he's going to be here. He's going to be here. He has already said that he plans on doing it, and I appreciate that. Sean has come in. For me, the Jets have had hype for the last 15 years, and they stink every year, and they need to actually do something before I even think to give them any sort of credit. That's fair. That is fair. I am not arguing with you at all. So I think that the Jets are really in a year one rebuild, right? So when you look at the history of first year head coaches, normally what you see is that they just ride with the roster that they inherited year one, but then year two, they completely clean house. That's exactly what Sean McDermott did, right? So year one, he got us to the playoffs. Year two, cleaned house. Same thing with that Seattle Seahawks head coach last year. So he inherited that roster and then he absolutely cleaned house and started bringing in his own personnel. I think that's what the Jets are going to do. Yes, they just signed Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner, who have the youth on their side, who can be cornerstones of the future. But next year, I have a feeling that the Jets are about to have a massive cleaning of the house and rebuilding it the Aaron Glenn way, if you will. That is where we are at. Live has come in. For your callers, stop over talking, Dan. For your callers, stop over talking with 3 exclamation points. Live, come on with the criticism, man. It's Wednesday. So you know what's funny? I told everyone this was going to be the same song and dance with Bean and McDumbfuck. Wow. With all these injury-prone players on defense, and I got told I was being negative. I mean, look, we'll see. As far as Landon Jackson, yes, his injury history is certainly a concern. I'm going to see when he gets activated again. But for me, why would you place him on the physically unable to perform list if you genuinely believe that he was going to be ready by next week? That's not clocking for me. That is not clocking for me. Say that he's back next week, I'm going to be happy as a clam. I'm not going to be upset. Statement. And as a Bills fan last year, I did think the Jets were going to win the division. Go Bills, my B, y'all. It's okay. We forgive you, my friend. Go Bills. That's what I'm talking about, Spidey. Hope all is well. Eric, LOL. Phillip has come in. We need a more physical defense, a Bruce Smith type energy. What we need is for defensive linemen to actually finish the job, right? Actually sack the quarterback, right? Or maybe stop being so as liberal when it comes into first and second downs as well, right? I feel like a lot goes into this defense. So what exactly is the issue that's new? Seems like we have 6 weeks to get everyone back after the Ravens. I would love to win against the Ravens, but if we can use it as a rest week, why wouldn't we? He said McDumbfuck. He did say McDumbfuck, which is hysterical. Andrew has come in. I still think we need to fix the safety situation. They were fine and up and close to the line last year, but were continuously beat over the top. Coverage is a massive issue with this safety room. Massive issue, because really we don't have a true free safety. Maybe Derek Forrest can be that guy, but we'll see, right? We'll have answers in camp. LaSalle, a Jets fan, has called on in. What's up, LaSalle? How you feeling, man? Long time no speak.
Hello, man. What's up? I just saw that you were doing a call-in show, so I was just like, I'm gonna hop on in real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, man. How do you feel about the Jets locking down Sauce and Garrett Wilson, dude?
Loving every minute of it, man. Loving every minute. We signed the two guys that were one All Pro and one Pro Bowler. So I feel all good on our team,
Yeah.
and and we're just so like I just wish you got to do Collins so forever because I wish I could have went on to talk shit to
In the TD?
TD. Yeah.
Is that right?
Because honestly, I think he's talking about when he's talking about like, oh, you can't win with them getting their money. He's talking about QBs.
Yeah.
Let's just face it, wide receivers and cornerbacks do not get paid as much as paid as much as
No.
quarterbacks. If
No.
you can't win with a quarterback, can win with that quarterback, then you shouldn't give him a big contract. But when it comes to our receivers and cornerback, they only could do so much. They only could do so much. Like Garrett Wilson had one of the best seasons of his career last year, and we
Yeah.
only won 5 games. So
Mhm.
so he can't really do too much without a quarterback.
Yeah.
So
No, listen, like yesterday I was on my high horse and I said a take that I believe that Garrett Wilson would be in the same breath as Chase and Jefferson, say that he had a reasonable quarterback for the last couple of years. Like what he has been able to do on the field with Zach Wilson, with Tim Boyle, with Rodgers on one leg, very, very impressive. I'm just curious to see how Fields translates. I'm still concerned about his ability to read a defense. His mobility is good, right? So like he's going
yeah,
to be able to help in that facet of the game. But I'm very interested to see how the Jets transition into the Aaron Glenn era.
but like I told Richie this, I don't see Justin Fields as like a franchise quarterback until he proves it to me.
Yeah.
I see him as a placeholder. I see him as a placeholder, a guy that will be there for at least a year or two, and then we drop the quarterback next year, and then we bring him in slowly. That's what my picture of him is until he proves to me that he's a franchise quarterback. When he proves to me that he's a
Yeah.
franchise quarterback, he's going to I like give him the money that he wants and
Yeah.
whatever. But until he can prove it to me, I'm not saying that he's a franchise level type of guy
Yeah.
or not a
Yeah.
placeholder.
And so it's
So
speculation season, right? Because we really don't know what, like, really any new addition to any team is going to look like. So many sort of examples of new players or free agents going into a system and they just weren't quite the same. And as high as we can get on rookies coming in, right? It's tough to see whether or not that they can translate into the NFL. And that goes with first round picks all the way down to sixth or seventh round picks. It's all about speculation and optimism. And hey, I certainly get it.
yeah, yeah, like I'm not gonna get like we got high like people were getting high on Aaron Rodgers. I didn't get that high on him, but I was just like, we'll see what happens, and it went the way that I really didn't want it to go.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, okay, no matter what they do, I'm gonna give it some time, and if it turns out that he becomes like the Jared Goff of the Jets, like he just turns his like career around.
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, no, that's the best way to go. That we did great here. But Jared Goff, like he's had like 4 years to get it done. He only had 2 years, so
Yeah.
so so it kind of
No, I
showing
get
it
it,
there
man.
that
No, yeah, I get
yeah.
it. And so right before I let you go, Lisselle, just, just give me your hottest take of the 2025 NFL season. Hottest
Okay,
take
how
of the
to take
2025 NFL
how to
season.
tell you
Go.
how to take Miami Dolphin fans, you're gonna hate me.
Oh no.
I believe that the Miami Dolphins will not win more than 5 games.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, I just don't see. They have not gotten more. Didn't get enough of an improvement, and I just to don't think that Mike McDaniel and the offense is going to get any better than better than what they have. And they don't have a tight and they got a tight end who just got off of retirement, and they have not gotten another tight end. So basically, they're coming out this year with a retired tight end and a rookie.
Interesting. Dude, you know what?
So it's like I don't know. I don't see them getting any better. I feel like what Richie said. They're going to collapse just like they just did. They're going to collapse just like they just did, and they're only going to win 5 games, and people are going to get fired.
So it's
That's what I see.
it's gonna be a sad season for TD Finstock. Lascelles, I
It
appreciate
is.
you calling in, my friend.
Yeah, glad to thank you for having me. And
For sure.
and
For sure, dude. You enjoy the rest of your day. Shout out my boy Lascelles. He was a regular caller over at the AFC East Roundtable. I did want to point something out because you have heard this reference twice already from our callers today, guys. You have heard Fourth and Forever. Fourth and Forever is a show on the Roundtable Sports Network where myself, TD, and Richie, we give you guys a daily NFL news show. So rather than me just covering the Bills, rather than TD just covering the Dolphins, rather than Richie doing the Jets, we cover all of the massive storylines surrounding the league. That's Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. EST all season long. I've been running this all off season. It's been super popular and we're loving it. And we're starting to feel the momentum build as training camp is right around the corner, officially starting next week. Highly suggest that all of you go check that out if you have time this morning. We're very proud of the show. We think that it's awesome. So go subscribe to the Roundtable Sports Network on YouTube and turn on those bell notifications. We will be live later this afternoon to unpack a lot of what is going around in the league pre-training camp. Live has come in. Have you listened to Warren Sharp's take on McDermott and hiring Spagnuolo? Spags as the head coach for the Buffalo Bills. I haven't, but this is what this show is all about. I'm curious to see what it is. I'm going to take Warren Sharp, McDermott. Let's see what he has to say. I have April 25th. Say that you can DM that to me over on X. That would be great. Say that you can find the clip on X. Send me a DM so we can listen and react together. Cut the entire team except for Josh Allen, Spidey Munn. Love the show, Dan. Have you thought about putting a timer up for the callers with a question mark? No, we did that over on the AFC East Roundtable. I typically think I'm pretty good at cutting it off when necessary. I don't know. Guys, let me know if we should implement a timer on the show when the callers come in. But solid stuff. Let me know if you think I should implement a timer or just let it be a solid conversation. You have not been on the last 2 weeks with Fourth and Forever. We have been back Monday and Tuesday. We are back. We are good to go. We just took a little break, 4th of July. And then last week, we ended up taking a little bit of a break. It is a great take live. I don't use X. We have live coming in saying, I don't use X. I do not blame you, my friend. I do not blame you. Take care of that mental health. What the hell is to Corey Couch? Or who the hell is to Corey Couch? What is his name? He is a camp body, my friend. He's a camp body that we should all be excited about. But all right, friends, that's going to have to do it for another edition of the Don Mafia Report. I feel like I'm starting to get to the season where not only will you be getting a show in the morning, but also in the late afternoon, especially next week when training camp is here and there's actually things to talk about. So subscribe and turn on bell notifications because, again, I want to make sure that all of you one day feel comfortable enough to call in, okay? To call in and tell me what's going through your mind about the NFL and or the Buffalo Bills. We're building a great community over here. I love each and every single one of you for making this a part of your daily routine. We have Philip has come in. Philip, what's going on, man? And despite all of our concerns about the defense, somehow we will still end up doing okay. I would like to see us get over the hump and feel we just need a couple elite game changers who can stay healthy. Philip, health so important to this team, man. especially going into the playoffs when it matters most. Thanks for the report, Dan. No problem, man. I'm enjoying it. Question, what is the story with Landon? I was late. Big Daddy D, right before I wrap up the show. He reported to camp yesterday, and he was placed on the physically unable to perform list. While some reports are coming out that doctors are optimistic he could be cleared next week, I'm kind of having a hard time seeing why they would place him on the physically unable to perform list if that truly was the case. So I'm hoping that he's back at least by some point during training camp. I don't want him to miss any reps in training camp because that's exactly what happened to Cole Bishop last year. Missed all of training camp and his development was slowed. And quite frankly, I think especially when it comes into our defensive line and with all of the suspensions that we have and the depth side of things, we need these rookies to make literally a week one impact. So that's it. Spags Take will be a great show. I'm going to have to check it out. I'm going to have to find it. And maybe we will make that a late sort of afternoon show. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. And I will see you later. Make sure you call William Matar if you were ever hurt in a car and drink garage beer.